Hello, we're here with the State Representative Jose Aliseda. It's so good to be with you this morning.
Good morning.
We would like to know if you can tell us about your values and what shape those values.
My values are conservative. I think that having two parents that were strong and moral, growing up in the Midwest, I grew up in Illinois. My religion, I think, helped shape my values, and then my education. Just going to school, paying attention to things that are going on around me, and I think they helped me become conservative. So I consider my values conservative.
Now, I do know that this is the first time that we have in the House of Representatives few Hispanic Republicans, and actually you are also a member of the Hispanic Republican Caucus. Most Democrats believe Hispanics should be Democrats. Do you agree with that? Why or why not?
Well, I think Hispanics have traditionally been Democrat because they say they were born Democrat, but I disagree. I think that the political philosophy of the Republicans is more in tune with what I think are Hispanic values, which are strong family values, good work ethic, financially and fiscally conservative. So I think that if Hispanics really paid attention to what the values that the Republican Party has in its platform, they would follow the Republican Party. If they saw the Democrat platform and really understood what it talks about, abortion and other issues, they'd run away from it in droves, I think. I think they need to pay better attention. That's why it's important that people like myself and the other Hispanic Republicans are in the party, because I think we can take a message, that part of delivering the message, unfortunately, is the messenger. And if they need to understand that there are people out there that have conservative values, and they're Republicans, they're not Democrats, which I think is a good thing, because both parties, I think, need to be there. What has happened with the Democrats and the Hispanics is, I think, that they've been taken advantage of. When you adhere strictly to one and have a political affiliation with only one particular party, there's no reason for that party to do anything for you. On the other hand, if you have two parties that are vying for your attention, you're more likely to have more power that way, and I think that's what's a good thing about having Republican Hispanics.
That's right. Mr. Aliseda, tell us about the people in your district. What are the issues that they are concerned with?
I can tell you what I ran on. I ran on a pro-life platform, which I think was important to the people in my district, Hispanic and non-Hispanic. I ran on employment. We're still experiencing pretty high unemployment in my district. And some of the other issues, of course, are fiscal responsibility. One of the big problems that we've had this particular session is that we're dealing with a budget shortfall of several $billion dollars. And so we need to know how we're going to allocate the resources that we have. I ran on a no new taxes pledge. I think people, Hispanics and non-Hispanics alike, feel like we're paying too much taxes and we don't know where our money's going and whether it's being spent wisely. So I think those are the same values, I think, across the state. I bet you if you talk to my Anglo Republican colleagues, that they ran on similar issues. So the issues are the same whether you're Hispanic or Anglo in this particular election cycle.
Yes. Well, voter ID is very important for the integrity of our election process. Yet many people, especially Democrats, confuse this issue with immigration. What are your thoughts, and what is your role on voter ID legislation?
All right. You say they confuse the issue. They don't. They deliberately confuse the issue. They want to make it a race issue, and it's really an issue about having a safe election system. I mean, you asked me my role. I had a key role this particular session, they asked me, I was the only Republican that was able to go up there and close on the voter ID issue, because I had experienced it. I had, as a prosecutor, I had prosecuted voter fraud cases, not necessarily voter impersonation cases, but voter fraud cases. And wherever I went in my district, they couldn't understand how people could do anything without an identification. You need an identification to rent a movie. How is it that our voting system is any different? So what has happened is, and this issue, much like any of the other big issues that we're going to be dealing with, the Democrats have tried to confuse it with a race issue, and it has nothing to do with race. It has a lot to do with what makes common sense in a society that, you know, here we are 2011, and there is nothing you can't do without an ID. Why? Because we have impersonation in every aspect of American society. That, you know, one of the big crimes du jour is identification theft, where they can get credit cards and other things in your name. You don't think that's happening with voting? I think it is. I mean, why would we have groups like Acorn going out and registering the Dallas Cowboy, Dallas Cowboy football team in Nevada? Why would we have Mickey Mouse registered as a voter? Because people see the possibility to register people and perhaps vote them. If you don't have an ID to prove who you are, that could happen. And if it doesn't happen there, it could happen in some other way, like mail-in ballots or some other things. But we need to make sure our election system is safe. And I don't want to confuse it with a racial issue. In fact, in my speech on the floor, I didn't mention race or ethnicity one time. I talked about Acorn, and I talked about people, Americans, wanting to believe that their election system is at least as safe as renting a movie at Blockbuster.
Yes. Mr. Aliseda, one of the things that I do with Voces Action is I educate and empower the Latino community with conservative values. But I also do a lot of that in Spanish. Mm-hmm. And I really feel very grateful that during this time we have few of you who also speak Spanish very well, and I have seen you in Spanish TV many times. Can you just share a little bit if you think it is important, like in Texas, there is still a lot of people who speak Spanish. It is important to communicate in Spanish when you are running a legislation, and how can have that help the community when you speak in Spanish to the community?
Well, you know, one of the beautiful things about knowing two languages is that you can communicate to people in two different languages. And I'm a Mexican immigrant to this country. Unfortunately, I've been, you know, at 54, I've been slowly losing my Spanish because I don't practice it very often. But people need to understand that there's no shame in knowing two languages. In fact, it's an advantage. On the other hand, in this country, if you're going to do well, you need to speak English.
Yes.
That's any successful individual speaks English well, and I think an even more successful individual can speak both languages, or three or four. You go to Europe and people there know, you know, several languages. I was fortunate when I came here. I already knew Spanish, and it helped me because I learned it early. It's more difficult for people as they get older, and unfortunately, if you don't practice anything, you lose it. So I think it's important that people understand, even recent immigrants like myself, that there are people that are successful that can do both, speak English and Spanish.
That's right. Well, I don't know if you would like to add something else about what you would like to tell the people of Texas now that you have been working in this session, something that is important for you?
Well, I'm here. This is really why I'm here. I think we have something very special in this country. They call it the American dream, whatever you want to call it, and you have to take care of it. It is something that if you don't work hard to keep it, then we're going to be just like any other nation in the world. But people are coming here, and they come here illegally and legally, but because of the opportunity here. And if you don't cherish it, if you don't appreciate it, if you don't try to take care of it, then it's not going to be a special place anymore. And I appreciate everything that this country's given me, the opportunities it's given my family and myself. Probably more so than someone that was born here, because it is. I mean, I've had the good fortune of traveling to 14, 15 other countries, and this is a very special place. We need to take care of it.
Exceptional. Thank you, Mr. Aliseda, and thank you for serving the people of Texas.
Thank you.
Thank
Pleasure.
you.